this workshop. I'm Savvy, and today I will be teaching you how to feminize your voice, how to masculinize your voice, how to make it sound androgynous, how to do pretty much anything you want of your voice. So I'm so glad to be back in VR. It's been a long while, but I got things figured out with my VR headset in my new place that I moved into, so I hope y'all will enjoy this session today. All right, just stay muted for this session and you'll have your opportunity to move up on stage. We'll talk about that later. So anyways, let me do a little preface that's really important when it comes to voice. Voice is fickle. When we talk about voice, we also want to talk about vocal hygiene. So when you use your voice, please try to drink some water 10 to 15 minutes before doing any voice work. That is because when you drink water, it does not go down where your vocal folds, your vocal cords are. It goes down your stomach. Otherwise, it would go down your lungs. Not super great. So the hydration of your voice will actually be happening through the blood flow, through the bloodstream, and that will take a little bit of time. So be sure to stay hydrated for all this time. Another thing, you might notice there's some floaty things around us, some pollens. The trees are happy, and I'm less happy because I get allergies. And as I do, I take some medication that prevents me from feeling bad because of these pollens. So these antihistamines, as they're called, that's the name of the medication, tend to be dehydrating to the body, generally. So it also has a slight impact on my voice. Doesn't mean it's the end of the world. It just means that things are a little bit tougher for me for this time of the year. And same could be true for you, especially if some of you take spironolactone, which is some medication taken for some of you in the context of HRT. So other medications you might also be taking could be responsible for dehydrating your body. My work around this, I take it early in the morning before I have any voice work to do, or I can take it in the evening so it doesn't have any effect on my voice during the day. So just try to work around it. And of course, when it comes to other dehydrating behaviors, you'll have smoking, you'll have drinking coffee, you'll have drinking alcohol, and most substances tends to be dehydrating to your body. So be sure to work around that. At the end of the day, you do what you want with your voice, right? So if some things make your voice a little bit less efficient, that's not the end of the world, but try to avoid doing the dehydrating behaviors and medication taking at the same time as your voice work happens. That's pretty much it. Now, with that said and done, let's talk a little bit about what voice is and what voice is about. So here on the board, as you can see, is a very simple diagram. We call this the power source filter model. It aims to explain the voice into three main categories. The first category being the power, which is the airflow available for our voice. So the air moves up the trachea, which is this tube here, and reaches what we call the larynx, which is our voice box. Within the larynx, we find little flaps that open and close and open and close really, really fast. So fast, in fact, that they create a source sound. That source sound will then move up into this space, which we call the vocal tract. And it's very simple. It's just some tubes. So it's the tube at the back of your mouth and nose. It's the tube of your mouth and it's the tube of your nose. And all of these tubes together shape the source sound. Quite effectively, they shape the vowel sounds that we use. So saying a, e, I, o, u, all of these different vowel sounds are a different shape and position of our tongue and lips. And so there's a little funky thing that can happen with the vocal tract because we can actually filter the sound through those vowels, but we can also filter the gender. Well, we can modify the filter and change the perception of the voice really easily. So if we say, for example, drop our larynx, drop our voice box, we end up having a larger vocal tract, which can give me
a much bigger, darker, more cavernous voice, right? And so already sounds a lot more masculine. And vice versa, if you want
to feminize your voice, you're going to want to lift that up. But that's not enough, is it? I'm not here to push you into a very specific voice box, by the way, right? Like, you do what you want with your voice. There's as many different femme voices as there are masculine voices. And so what really matters here? Well, there's one biological component that we cannot ignore when it comes to voice, and that will be testosterone. Testosterone exposure is known to have effects on the voice, and these effects are masculinizing, and they happen threefold. Well, rather, they modify our voice in three different ways. So first thing is our Adam's apple, where the larynx is, where the voice box is, will drop through puberty. So we'll get
The larynx will drop and we'll achieve a darker voice. The second thing that happens is the vocal folds. Remember the flaps that vibrate with the air? They actually vibrate really fast at high pitches, so they start to vibrate a lot slower. And as they vibrate a lot slower, we achieve a much more masculine sound. Not only that, but just like the rest of your body, testosterone also will impact the muscle mass. So you'll get bigger muscles, but you will also get like thicker vocal folds, which quite literally, using more vocal fold mass here will make my voice a lot more boomy, much more masculine leaning. And
reverting all of these three effects of testosterone on our voices will result in finding a much more feminine leaning sound. So if you're someone who wants to feminize their voices, you're going to want to raise your larynx. If you're like low in pitch, you might want to go higher in pitch. And if your voice is really buzzy, you might want to first soften it up and then slowly move it up with the rest of the components. And for those who want to masculinize their voices, well, I won't lie to you, testosterone is a big thing that does a lot of changes to our bodies. So you might not achieve like the same effects as someone who has had crazy exposure to testosterone plus years of voice acting and voice work, but that's the point. Voice work and voice behavior changes still can have a major effect even without testosterone. So you can still achieve quite some stretches without the molecule there present here. So yeah, that's about it for voice. So now let's do some vocal warm-up, everyone. So let's do this very simply. I'm going to do a sound and then I'll count to 3 and you can unmute yourselves and we do that sound all together. Sounds good? All right, I'll go first on the sound O as in old. All right, going first. Let's try this all together in 3, 2, 1. All right, very good. Now let's try a different sound. This time the sound Z, and as in the word zoo. Teeth and tongue in the way. Z. I go first. Let's try this in 3, 2, 1. All right, very good. And last but not least, we're going to do what we call a lip trill. It's a fun little sound where we make our lips bubble like this. So try it out. You can also like take your fingers and put them on the sides of your lips. That can maybe help get the vibration more consistent. All right, I go first. Let's try this one all together in 3, 2, 1. All right, very good. Good job. And with that said and done, we'll be ready to move on to the next part of the workshop. as per usual, and for those who are new to these workshops, I try to get up on stage two people who want to make their voices more feminine and two people who want to make their voices more masculine. So if you want to make your voice more masculine, please jump in place, raise your hand, or use the hand emoji if I can find it. I cannot find it, as a matter of fact. Well, there's a hand emoji. You can trust me on this one. All right, so anyone interested? All right, going once, going twice, going thrice. All right, I guess we'll do fem voice first. So if you want to make your voice more feminine, jump in place, raise your hand. All right, I saw you jump first. Spot 0, hello. Come up on stage. Come on, come on. Come closer, come closer. Yeah. Everyone give a big round of applause to Spot 0. Woo! Hello, hi.
Hello.
Hello, welcome to the stage. All right, is this the first time that you ever make it in one of these workshops?
So, no, I've been to a couple workshops. I have been on stage once before, a
Oh
long
my.
time ago.
Okay. How long? With me too?
Like a year, 2 years ago?
Okay, fair enough. I guess that works. Let's see. We'll have not too long of a time. Let's see. Let's have 6 minutes. All right, let's start. So, Spot 0. Welcome back then. All right, how about you let me know what you like to work on? It's been a while, so yeah.
One of the
Tell
things
me.
I think of is clarity. Like, hello. So, one of the things I feel like is whenever I speak, it feels muffled or hazy.
Muffled or hazy? Interesting. So I would actually compare the sound muffled as like something that's either quieter or maybe darker. So like reasons for sounds to be muffled could be because your voice doesn't have enough projection to it. Like you might be speaking really, really quiet, or you might, like perhaps speaking through the nose. Like speaking through the nose tends to like muffle the voice a little bit because it's not as efficient as speaking out of your mouth. But I'm not entirely sure if that's the case of your voice. Perhaps you understand the sound of muffled and the lack of clarity as maybe a sign of having a voice that's still a little bit too dark. So, have you been practicing stuff with like vocal tract size exercises? The whisper stuff, for example.
I have been practicing whenever I get in VR or like driving places and stuff like that. Trying. I've also been trying different things like raising the pitch and stuff like that with different methods without trying to strain my throat. Yeah, I think I found one that works a bit better. Like hello. So this is a voice I've been practicing on. I think it's better than the previous method I was doing.
Hello. So this is interesting because you definitely do start at a higher pitch and do have more of that brightness, which maybe you define as that clarity, but hello. It's also like quickly drops back to something that's more androgynous leaning. So what if we instead first tried to speak monotonously and try to just keep it steady at a given pitch? How about we try the following? Okay, so, all right, let's try the following. I want you to try and read the first sentence on the board here, trying to read it as femme as possible. Give it a try.
That Matt Brad sat on the flat mat.
Okay, very good. That mad brat sound of flat mat. You're a little bit darker than this. That mad brat sound of flat mat. Okay, interesting. So, first of all, we can try to really raise the brightness here, get it a lot more bright. Let's try the following. Try after me. Give me a dark whisper on that mad brat. Something like,
That's mad, brat.
try it out.
Mad Brad.
Very good. Now let's take the word that and scale it to a smaller space. Let's raise the larynx.
That.
Good. And then from here, try to speak. That's mad brats.
That mad brat sat on the flat mat.
That's very good. Now, as you do this, you can feel that you sustain the height of your larynx there. Now, we have to bridge that bright whisper and that great position of brightness into something that's more talk-like, so a more balanced voice. We go through different states. Whisper is when your vocal folds are fully open. Breathy is when your vocal folds are a little bit more closed, but not fully. And balanced is when your vocal folds are properly closing fully and opening and closing efficiently. So let's start the following. That's mad brats.
That mad brat.
Good. And now good, and say that mad brats.
That mad brat.
Great. That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That mad brat sat on the flat mat.
Very good. Already we got a really really bright sound here. Okay. And now from here, that mad brat sat on that flat mat. Let's start to move the pitch around a little bit. That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
Good. And then the other way around. That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That mad brat sat on the flat mat.
All right, very good. So now we have that mad brat sat on the flat mat. I would urge you to be careful though, because as you go lower in pitch, you also go a little bit darker. Your Adam's apple drops a little bit. So we hear this, that mad brat sat on that flat mat. It's not dropping far enough for your voice to be masculine. Let's be clear on that. But it is showing a trend going downwards. So my main issue here would be, this is fine. But if you're not careful with that, it's slowly going to chip away at your voice. That mad rat's on that flat mat. That mad rat is on that flat mat. That mad rat's on that flat mat. And then you eventually go back to like your usual behavior, right? Something more masculine leaning. And so that's kind of something that you want to be aware of, to be careful with, because it's not so much that you don't know how to do a fem voice. You're quite proficient at it, actually. It's more so that you struggle to identify when your voice drops down. And so it kind of shows, well, the cracks, right? Like you hear the brightness kind of leaving, and it kind of goes back to that muffled sound that you mentioned before, right? Would that kind of match your experience of your voice?
I think so. It's also the thing, just listening to myself on recordings, talking back, it just doesn't have that clarity.
That
I
clarity.
think it might...
Yeah. So like, for example, what we did together, I think sounded like fantastic. Like that mad rat sound, that flat mat sounded really femme to me. Would you be able to go back there on your own without my guidance?
Hold on, let's see. Down here, and then... that mad brat's on a flat mat.
Great. So now we are like, A3, right? So that's all good, but you're probably never going to speak all the way up here all the time. So let's try this. That mad brat, da da da. That mad brat.
That mad brat.
Careful here, that mad brat. And as you go down in pitch, you lose that brightness, right? So that's one thing, to practice brightening your voice at a high pitch, and that's good because you're practicing your voice at A3 really efficiently. But now your voice is actually going to evolve across a long, wide range, right? These are just recommended range, by the way. Like you'll find like femme voices that end up talking all the way down here, and
similarly, you'll find masc voices that are all the way up here, right?
So, take those with a grain of salt. But you currently have a really femme sound around this pitch, A3. And each time you go, you go, that mad brat, that mad brat, that mad brat, that mad brat. Oh, and we already reached something more dark and more muffled, right? So that's the thing. Each each time you go lower in pitch, you risk losing some of that brightness. So you want to be able to reach a point like that mad brat, that mad brat, that mad brat, that mad brat, where you're still bright.
That mad brat, that mad
Yeah,
brat, that
not
mad
close.
brat.
Yeah, and already you lose it. So that. The first three ones are good, right? And da. Right? It sounds already a bit darker, right? So the option you can try is either you work from a high pitch and you try to maintain brightness as you go down, or the other way is just to, okay, I'm going to aim for this pitch here, the one I struggle with, F3, for example, and I'm going to work at it until I get it really bright. So, for example, F3 here. So you can say, for example, in a masc voice, that mad brat.
That mad brat.
Right, not super masc, but that's okay. It's more like androgynous in your case. It's already a bit brighter than me. And so from here, that mad brat, you can try using the techniques of brightening your voice, either trying to jump for it, like that. Right? Not quite because you started the, so you changed the pitch each time. Keep the pitch neutral. You kind of do right? So that might not be an option just yet. You might not have the control for that now. But what I would recommend is just go for whispers again, you know? That. And then think about the pitch in your head. And that. Careful, you're higher. You want to be lower, right? So I would recommend, yeah. So that was much better. And so like I would recommend that you practice with like a pitch monitor on the side, and this would be really helpful to kind of merge those two things together. The brightness and the pitch work sometimes together, sometimes against each other. In your case, they still work together, and you have this kind of thing where like high pitches are femme, no questions, but low pitches are more androgynous, more masculining, because they track their brightness with the pitch going lower, right? That's pretty much what you want to avoid. So I would say practice like this pitch range, like E3, F3, maybe a bit of D3 perhaps, if you want to have a more like lower pitched femme voice, if that's what you are looking for, right? And yeah, so I think like most of the reasons for why you feel like, okay, you definitely have reached femme sounds up here, no problem, but this is where you're mostly lacking most of that brightness. So practice this range, and if you practice these pitches and made them sound as bright as the high pitches, then you pretty much have a lot of range that you can cover in a femme setting, meaning with more brightness, with less space. All right?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, I hope that helps you out.
Yeah.
Best of luck with your voice work. Everyone give a big round of applause to Spot Zero. Woo! All right, I'll see you around.
Thank you.
All right, next up on stage, do we have anyone that wants to make their voices more masculine? Anyone interested? Jump in place, raise your hand, shake, dance, I don't know. Are you raising your hand, Fua? Fua, yes? Is it voice masculinization, or do you just have, oh, that's your ears, my bad, my sight is really bad. VR sight issue. All right, I guess no one then. All right, it's just femme voice today. Wow, that's crazy. All right, so if you want to make your voice more femme, jump in place, raise your hand. All right, Boney, yes. Have you already been on stage before? Nope. All right, come up on stage. Come on. Everyone, give a big round of applause to Boney. Hello. Hi. Oh, you're a little bit quiet. Oh, hello.
Yes, I'm a bit quiet. Hold on.
Is there any way you could make your mic a little bit
Sorry.
louder? Oh, there you
Now?
go. Thank you.
Now, do you hear
Oh,
me?
yes, it's perfect. Thank you so much.
Hello.
All right, welcome. All right, what you come here for, Boney?
Yeah, I don't know. I wanna check if I'm doing my feminine voice right, because I honestly have trained it by myself for a long time, so it's like
All
I
right.
don't know how I'm doing with it.
All right, then no pressure whatsoever. Let's try the following. So, give it a try. Try to give a read on that very first sentence here and try to do your best. All right, the floor is yours.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Hello, good morning. How are you?
That's wonderful. Hello. Hello.
I
Good
see.
morning. How are you? That's beautiful. Why are you still using your mask voice? What is that? Stop it. You have a femme voice.
Cause I get a bit nervous on stage, that's it.
You're doing great though.
But-
Keep it up.
But yeah. No, yeah. The thing is, I
Yes.
don't know if my thing is doing right. I just want to check. It's like, is there anything you can see I can improve? I know my voice is shaky right now because, yes, I normally don't
You're
know.
doing perfectly fine. So, like, if I may, I'm going to mimic your voice, right?
Mhm.
So, like, the vibe I'm getting is a voice that's like much lower in pitch, much lower than most femme voices we tend to hear. I think it's nice. It's a nice change of pace. We always get to hear like the hyper feminine voices, or like whatever. But like, you chose the darker path, the path of warmth, you know, of lower pitches. It's kind of chill. I like that vibe. I like what you go for. If I have to be objective here, I'm hearing brightness at low pitches. Yes, yes. The way I look at voice is an ensemble of checklist of points, right? How bright is your voice, right? Is it really bright? Is it really dark? Is your pitch really high? Or is it really low? Is your voice really buzzy? Or is it really soft? And you showcase low pitch, but not so low that it's only masculine range. So it's low enough to still be, it's high enough to still be in a femme range. So your pitch is fine. I would say that's probably the most gender neutral part of your voice, your pitch. Then your voice is bright, no questions asked. Like, even if you speak down at these pitches, by the way, let's take a look because I want to see what pitches you're speaking at. Could you give me, just speak to me a little bit?
Okay, so like, I don't know what I'm
Mhm.
supposed to say. I
Alright,
try
you're
to
great.
make the voice
That's all
sound
good.
charming.
And try
in
to
a
make the
low
voice
pitch. That's what
sound
I try to
charming.
say,
So like
yes.
right now we're like around this range, right? And so even if that's
Yeah.
like the middle part of the mask range, you also do so in a really soft manner. You're not making your voice really thick, right? On this pitch, you make your voice really soft and your voice is bright. So like your vocal tract is really small. So it gives that vibe because if it wasn't
Hello, good morning, how are you, right?
exact same pitch. I know, it's weird, it's crazy. We still are in the same area, right?
But like, hello, good morning, hello.
Hello, good morning. Exact same pitch. You're doing this right. So I don't have much to say about your voice other than it's great. And the only objectives you should be asking me for is not, does your voice sound femme? It's more so like, do you have questions for like, okay, maybe you want to do voice acting, maybe you want to do sing, maybe you feel like your voice is not natural enough, quote unquote. Natural is more a thing of flexibility. There's no such thing as a natural voice, I would say. There's consistent voices, perhaps. But I don't know, aside of consistency that I have not yet detected, there's not much I have to say about your voice. So we can do a little bit more testing. You can go through the whole paragraph if you want, and I can try to listen for perhaps hiccups. Try it out.
Okay, so hello, good morning. How are you? I'll have a cup of coffee, please. I forgot to take my hormones. Are you really sure about that? I think I have a craving for pickles. I totally agree with that. Wait, I can't. No, that can't be right.
Very good.
Lahach is my favorite shark.
Nice bonus points for the proper pronunciation. Actually, it's blowhigh. Blowhigh. Close enough. That's your only mistake. Learn Swedish. No, but you're fine.
Yeah, I should.
Like the only thing I might have something to say about is perhaps on the lower pitches of your voice, like, ugh, I forgot to take my hormones. Like you're quite breathy. But there's also kind of the moods that this sentence kind of imply, like, ugh, I forgot to take my hormones. Like out of breath, annoyed, tends to be breathy sometimes, that kind of mood. And then you kind of showed me wrong because you went like, I think I have a craving for pickles. And then you went for this little creak, very gentle. I think I have a craving for pickles. And I thought like, okay, that's dismissing my point of breathiness because you seem to like either go breathy, either go creaky, mostly in the balanced area. So that's good to me. Yes, you have a question?
Yeah, like, okay, out of all of this, so it seems that my voice is good. One thing you mentioned, though, at the start was that voice maintenance, like itself, would be
Consistency.
drinking
Oh,
water.
yes. Hygiene. Absolutely.
I have
yes.
a question with that because I have a very poor hydration. Let's just say I drink
No!
coffee. Yeah, I
No!
want to know if there's any negative effects long term because I don't know. I don't take that much of account in that, so I don't
How
know.
many
Thankfully, I don't smoke.
coffee
I don't
cups do you
drink.
drink?
But anything
How much?
else, it's just
How much coffee do you drink per day?
um,
Oh no.
a coffee in the morning, and since I'm in college right now,
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
I'm drinking some monsters aside from the coffee. So
No,
it's
God.
like, yeah.
So like
Yeah.
the most side effects you're gonna get from this is like a slight dehydration of your body a little bit. If you drink water on the side of that, you should be mostly fine. Again, like you might want to consider this if you want to be a singer, a voice actor, if you want to make this your profession. But guess what? I'm gonna let you on a secret, everyone. I had coffee this morning. I know, I shouldn't, but I needed to wake up, all right? Well, I had it in the morning, so it doesn't have much of an impact on me now because I kept up on the hydration. But it's not the end of the world. Monster, though, it's like very acidic. The bubbles, it's a carbonated drink, so you might have a gentle, not gentle, you might have acid reflux, which could maybe, create acid gases that can burn your vocal folds a little bit, but like not the end of the world again. Yeah, I mean, like that's probably
So,
like I'd just ask this one question for you is, does your voice ever get tired? Do you ever like lose your voice at any point when you want to use it? So that's
yes,
probably
it does
why
get
then.
tired, especially okay. I'm talking like an hour or two, or maybe
Okay.
now, like it starts to feel like when it starts to feel like it does this thing
Yeah.
where it fails. It's like and I
Oh
have
no,
to
it
just
needs to stop. Oh
clear my
no.
throat and
Oh gosh,
yeah,
oh no.
and
It's like there's
with other
mucus
things,
buildup, right? So that's a sign that your
singing.
voice is dehydrated. If you feel that you need to
Okay.
clear your throat, your vocal folds are quite literally. Let's take a look. See those vocal folds here? They're a white grayish color. And the reason for that is because they actually are covered with mucus. That mucus is meant to exist because it's basically lubricating your voice. Let's give you an example. A pitch like ah might have your vocal folds open and close something like 200 times per second, so it's pretty intense. And so if the lubrication is not present, then you have dry vocal folds trying to rub on each other. The response is, let's create more mucus to coat the vocal folds again, but it's already a warning sign that, hey, maybe your voice is a little bit dehydrated. There's other reasons, like maybe your mucus could be thick, like there's like a very small thing, like dairy products are known to kind of thicken the mucus of the vocal folds. There's some studies on that. It's a more niche thing, I suppose. But yeah, generally speaking, like perhaps, yeah, vocal hygiene might be the most important thing for you. Last question I have for you, and then I gotta go for another person, is how long do you use your fem voice per day? Is it still a new thing? Because there's also the part of you're still
Like, use your mask voice a lot.
and having to change between the two behaviors can be quite tiring on the voice. you know? So perhaps you still haven't fully incorporated how to do those super reliably, to do your fem voice super reliably. And perhaps that's what's causing the mucus buildup. So that's my question for you here.
To be honest, yes, just drinking water. Like, since I don't drink, it's too much water. It's not like it's fully reliable all the time. Sometimes it's like the voice gets more sore, it becomes more difficult for me to speak. So sometimes that's why I say sometimes my voice does and sometimes my voice doesn't work. So it's like
we all have off voice days. Also, like lack of sleep doesn't allow your vocal folds to regenerate. So that's also another thing. And you're in
that
college,
affects
so
too.
yeah, that affects too. Of course, like, but your whole body is affected if you don't sleep. Guess what? Your body doesn't regenerate, and your vocal folds also need regeneration. So yeah,
Oh,
I
so
know.
I
I am.
okay.
All right.
Everything else good. My maintenance is horrible then.
That's pretty much it. Like, try to cut down on coffee, try to cut down on Monster. If you can't, just drink more water and try to have better sleeping hours. I know it's a lot to ask, it's not easy. I'm not saying it is. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, your voice is great. If you all do all of these things, get better sleep, cut down on the consumption and stay hydrated, and the issues with your voice still happen, then maybe there might be a different underlying issue. But for now, from what I hear, it sounds pretty much in line with what I tend to hear in people that just get started with voice training, which was also why my question was like how long you've been practicing. You didn't give me like a time, like how long do you use your fem voice for?
Yeah, I did not talk about that. Yeah, 4 years. Soon it's gonna be 5 years. Yes, I learned it
Oh wow.
by my own, and yeah, long time without checking. To be honest, what's going on here? Yeah.
I mean, like 1 hour, 2 hour, depends if you do it nonstop, if you stay hydrated or not. So I don't know. It depends. As you said yourself, like it depends on the days. So yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Your voice sounds wonderful. Just keep it up. Perhaps try to explore higher pitches. Maybe you'll find that it's less strain on your voice. I know it might sound counterintuitive because like you might be like, yeah, lower pitches are easier, but also not really, because brighter sounds tend to work better with higher pitches. So perhaps you could try using slightly higher pitches to see if that fatigues your voice the same amount. So that's what I would recommend you try a little bit. Okay?
Okay.
All right. You did great. Everyone give a big round of applause to Bodhi. Woo!
Okay.
Yes. See you around.
Alright.
Bye-bye. All right, last chance for mask voice. If you want to make your voice more masculine, jump in place, raise your hand, or dance, or not. All right, going once, going twice, going thrice. No mask voice today. Let's just do femme voice. So, if you want to make your voice more femme, jump in place, raise your hand. And I'm not sure, is it you raising your hand, Fua? No, is it the ears again? Okay. Cat Scratch, have you already been on stage before?
No, first time for me.
You have not been?
No, May, come on.
All right, come up on stage. Come on.
Sweet.
All right. Everyone give a big round of applause to Cat Scratch. Woo! All right, welcome.
Oops, sorry. A pleasure. How's it going?
It's going great. I'm just setting a timer because I suck at tracking time. All right. Hello. Hi.
I do
Welcome. The same. Nice bee, by the way. Lovely bee here. All right. So, let's see. Let's make no bee jokes, Savvy. Let's get straight to the chase. Let's go straight to the point. So, have you already been to a voice workshop before?
No, never. First time. Pleasure to be on the team.
All right. All right, awesome. Have you already done some voice training of your own before, or completely new to it?
Theory part, yes. Otherwise, I've been on medication for about 4 months now.
All right. Wait, the first part, yes? You've been to a workshop before? Sorry, I didn't grab
No,
that.
never.
Okay, gotcha. So let's see. How familiar are you with voice stuff? Like, there's a bunch of terms like vocal folds and balanced, whispery. There's brightness, darkness, vocal tract. Are you lost with all of these terms, or have you been able to navigate with it so far?
All a foreign language to me. My eventual goal
All
is to
right.
develop more of a tomboy voice from male to female.
Ah,
Anything I need to work
interesting.
on?
Okay. All right, we can do just that. So let's just talk about voice real quick. So these are really, I'm going to make this into really silly terms. We have an airbag. The airbag goes whoosh, air moves up, flaps vibrates, flaps create sound. Sound moves up here, sound vibrates and bounces around everywhere. And boom, we have voice. But then that's the crazy part. The space in which the sound moves around in can be really big or it can be really small. Think about it like a guitar. Ding, ding, ding. Versus a small ukulele. Ding, ding, ding. You notice there is a switch up in brightness. A pitch that's like this can also be like this. Depending on how you modify the size. And that here, cat scratch, is how you get to modify most of your gender perception when it comes to voice. So if you want to reach for a tomboy voice, difficult for me to say. Tomboy voice is kind of depends. I would tend to say tomboy tends to be slightly darker than most femme voices. So I suppose you're looking for a femme voice that leans a little bit androgynous. Am I getting that right?
Yeah. I think so, yeah. I'm somewhere in betwixt androgynous and feminine.
Yeah. All right, awesome. So let's try just for that. First of all, I need to tell you what tools there are to your disposal when it comes to voice training. How do we modify this space? I mean, after all, when you hear my voice, your ear and your brain hears the vibration of my vocal folds. It hears the pitch, la 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 la. But hearing this part, sorry, the pitch doesn't move around, yet you notice something moves up or down, and that would be the filter. So having the pitch in the way kind of makes it difficult at first if you don't know what to listen for. So there's one thing that we can do is we just don't let the flaps vibrate at all. We just hear the air, and the air will be shaped by the filter. So if I say something like pat, fat, cat, you actually hear the size of my filter directly. Try it out yourself. Can you give me a whisper on pat, fat, cat?
Pat, cat.
All right. So as you said, pat, fat, cat, right? Take your hand here and put it gently on your neck. I like to have my index finger below my chin, still on my neck, and my pinky finger kind of above the collarbone, right? So I kind of feel for my neck. You should feel a little bump there. That's your Adam's apple. Do you feel it? All right,
pretty good there.
awesome. Awesome. Just don't press down. Just kind of rest your hand there. And I want you to give me a really dark pat, like pa, 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 pat that cat. Try it out. Yeah, awesome. What did you feel underneath your fingers?
I definitely noticed the Adam's apple going from up here to somewhere down here.
Yes, awesome. So there's the good reference point for Adam's apple. We all have very different bodies, but I would urge you to focus on the sound itself. You hear that this one pa, 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 is lower than the rest, and pa, 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 this one is higher than the rest. And so instead of calling those higher or lower, because I want to reserve the higher and lower for talking about pitch, we instead have a brighter pat, fat, cat and a darker pat, fat, cat, so as to not confuse it with the terminology used for pitch, right? High pitch,
Low pitch. Dark voice.
bright voice, right? And so let's try just that. I want you to still, with your hand on your neck, try to scale from a dark pat all the way up to a bright pat. Something like pa, 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 pat, fat, cat. Try it out. Awesome. And you should have reached like a really high point. Try not to have it be squeezed. There is no point in having like, because then no voice is going to filter through. Instead, try to have the pat that cat, and then try to gently breathe through it. Oh, give me a sec. And so from here, try to keep the airflow gentle. Like instead of having like a squeezed try to go more for a
Like this.
yes, kind of like this. All right, that's very good. And now, that's all good. So you've achieved a filter that's now really small, that resembles the size of a more feminine vocal tract. But the flaps here, they're not vibrating. No, not vibrating. So we gotta have those vibrate again. To do this, we want to close the vocal folds. Right now, we are providing air, but the vocal folds are out of the way, so they can't vibrate. You hear the air brush past them. That's what's making that sound. So now we're going to close the vocal folds because the air is already present there. And we're going to try to use the whisper as a landmark, as a guideline. If we hear the whisper do this, then we know that our voice dropped. So we try to keep it stable as we go to a balanced sound. Something like pat that cat. Pat that cat. All right. Do you want to give that one a try?
Yeah, why not? That.
All right.
That's.
Yeah. All right. So let's see what we did here. Pat that cat. That's very good. I would say that this pitch is a little bit low, and that is definitely more challenging. I mentioned before that brighter sounds tend to work a little bit better with higher pitches. It's not like a universal law, but I've tended to find, English is hard today, that people mostly struggle with like low pitch and really bright voices, like so, which is a wonderful voice type, but that can be a little bit more difficult if you're not experienced with it. And so if you go to like higher pitches, it might be a little bit easier. So I just want you to give me a slide from your lowest pitch up to your highest pitch. See what kind of range you have. Give it a try. Funny because you know where your pitch landed? You ended up all the way up here.
Oh, no way.
Oh, yes, way,
That's such a
absolutely.
relief.
C5. So you have all of that range available to you. And yet, when you bridge into your fem voice, you end up here. You have all of this range to use. Let's try it. Can you try to mimic my pitch here? Okay, so up here. Good. Now we can try to have that pitch here. Try it a few times. Good. Actually, your voice is already getting a little bit brighter as a result. But now you kind of have this. Our goal will be to have and for this,
Okay.
into pat that cat.
Ready. Pat that cat.
Pat that cat. Yes, that's kind of it actually. So pat that cat. The way you did the exercise, so it was a little bit iffy. Like you kind of okay. I would say first go whisper. Okay, let's just do this. It's gonna be 3 steps. Okay. First,
Okay.
let's scale the whisper. Then go from the bright whisper into the bright voice, and then try to use the voice there. So after me. Good. And now, from whisper to full voice, we think about the pitch. I'm gonna reach this one. Pat that cat.
I
Yes,
noticed
very
a little bit
good.
of a break
You got
there.
it.
Is
That
much
was
of a
really
problem?
great. Well, you kind of did. You kind of did this. And then you corrected your voice afterwards. So that kind of worked. You first went for a low pitch, but it was bright, and then you just went for the high pitch again of A3. And then you had pat that cat. Okay, that's really good. But one thing I do notice that might be your biggest caveat right now is that you have all of this range. Yet I can tell you're not super comfortable with this. Like, it takes a bit of adjustment to jump to these pitches. So try to familiarize yourself with these pitches. Try to hold them like da, right? Like, try to just go across your range and make these pitches more yours, and then adapt them with the brightness that we've done. And you got pretty much a femme voice. And from there, just like try to practice and sustain it. And that's about it, cat scratch.
Alrighty, it gets burnt to my noggin. Thank you.
You're welcome. Don't let it burn too much, though. Everyone give a big round of applause
make
to
no
Cat
such
Scratch.
promises.
Woo!
Thank you. Pleasure to meet you. Do you
Pleasure
handshake?
to meet you. Yeah, of course. Yes, nice doing business with you. Yes, nice doing business with you.
Oh, now we're going to a Prof
Right.
yet. Cool.
All right. Have a great one. Bye.
Take care.
All right. Awesome. Take care of you too. So let's see. Last but not least, let's get someone who wants to make their voices more feminine. Jump in place. Raise your hand. All right. We got Mayvels. Have you already been on stage before, Mayvels? If you're speaking, you might be muted, or you're a bit too far, perhaps. Oh. Did we get a crash? What's happening? Oh no, technical difficulties. I'll beatbox until it's cleared up. Mavels, are you here? Are you with us? Can you come up to the stage? Okay. All right, so I guess not. Vendetta, I saw you jump before. Come closer. Come closer. You've been on stage before, have you? Or have you not?
I have not.
All right, then come up on stage. Come on. Everyone give a big round of applause to Vendetta. Woo! Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. All right, let's start. So, hello, Vendetta. Welcome up on stage. Is it the first time you're in one of these workshops?
I guess on the vrchat, yeah.
Okay.
I've
Well,
been in, like,
welcome to the workshop.
Yeah, thank you.
So, let me know, what is that you would like to work on with your voice? I'm already hearing like a lot of feminine components. So, what's up?
I'm like a little further in my voice training. So like it's okay if someone else would be like a more better person to talk about, but like
No.
for me it's like
I'm willing
feel
to
like I
work with more
sound-
advanced. Yes, sorry, go on.
I sound like really different depending on like my mood and like whether I'm sleepy, whether I've woken up. And like I wanted to ask if like your experience, if that's like natural or if it's something that like needs to be worked on.
Okay, so for the context of the mood, that is mostly psychological. I can't really help with that other than share my own experience. Like, yeah, when I see people that I've been out as a masculine prior to transition, yes, I have a bias towards making my voice more masculine because my brain is like, oh yeah, you've had years of experience being a guy around them. And so that kind of plays a role. And same happens with my family. Although my family, I haven't, stopped seeing them. So in a sense, I kind of have gotten better at using my femme voice around them, no matter the context, but it took some time. It definitely was kind of like more conscious work. Because like when you worked on getting your voice to where it is, right, there was definitely some passive work. Maybe you were like doing it in the shower, doing it when you were doing food, when you were making food, stuff like that. And there was maybe some time where you just sat down on the PC and like record your voice, listen back to yourself, or just like took the time to really focus on this. And so this is kind of like where I define focused practice versus more idle practice. And so I think both are necessary. The focused practice kind of allows us to focus more on the affects and the aspects of our voices. Whereas like idle is more something where you kind of like try to treat it as a background task. So in these social settings or in different moods, I know it's difficult because if you're sad typically, or if you're like in a sour mood, you know, it might be difficult to be like, okay, let's do some more focused practice on my voice, you know. But really, that's the best way to go about this, I do think. Or better yet, try to practice these different mood shifts when you're doing better, when you are in a good mood, when your voice is normal, and try to mimic these situations, kind of like role play with yourself, you know. And yeah, that's kind of what I would recommend. Now, on the topic of the morning voice, that actually is of biological nature. Remember when I mentioned the vocal folds, right? The vocal folds are covered with like this thin layer of mucus, right? And when you just woke up, depending on if you're someone who sleeps by breathing through their nose or their mouth, you could have various degrees of your voice being dehydrated. Also, if you didn't drink water before going to bed, or if you didn't drink water right after waking up and you start using your voice right off the bat, then yeah, your voice is not going to be great. The first thing I do in the morning is drink water, and I don't speak for the 10-15 first minutes because I know I need the hydration to work. And then I do need to do some gentle warm-up, like see, not trying to break the ceiling of my high pitch, just trying to get my voice going and working and warmed up, because there's also partially muscles in the vocal folds. So your voice sounds worse in the morning because it's not warmed up and it's dehydrated. So that's entirely normal. So yeah, I hope I best answered you in both of these settings. And I hope that enlightens you, if that may be the word for it, on the path to follow.
I appreciate it a lot.
You're welcome.
One thing though, Savi, before I go.
Yes.
So like, my girlfriend's here, and could you do the thing where like you do the robot voice step thing? Just if you,
It depends.
You know what I mean?
Which robot voice are you talking about?
Do you,
The
like where you
hello?
drop your
Oh, which one? I drop my...
you tap your like your throat.
Yes, perhaps a voice like this. Oh no, wait. Oh, hello, Vendetta girlfriend. Hello. It's more difficult to do in VR with the controllers, but yeah, I can do that. Welcome to Savvy's workshop.
So bad. Thank you.
I am so happy to see you in the workshop. I hope you are entertained.
Thank you so much.
You're super welcome. And yeah. All right, Vendetta, thank you for asking these questions. There's no bad questions. This is really useful too, right? You know, if you feel like you have nothing to work on with your voice, more advanced stuff like that is also important. And this is actually useful for people who are starting too. So thank you for bringing that up on stage. Vendetta, everyone give a big round of applause to Vendetta. Woo!
Thank you.
All right, have a great one. Bye-bye. Oh, right on time. How beautiful. And with that, we conclude the workshop. Ow, that was my wall. We conclude the workshop, not my wall. All right, so Rory, do you have any questions from the Twitch stream? And V, do you have any questions from the Discord chat? Come closer, come closer. Tell me all about it. Questions. Uh-oh, okay. And what about you? Do we have Discord questions?
Someone was asking about the vocal apps, if you could put up that slide that has the...
Oh, yeah.
Like
Let me bring it up.
Also
Okay.
confirmed that Maeve did crash.
Yep, I saw someone despawn. That was really sad, but it happens. Hopefully next workshop, Maeve. So anyways, yeah. These are different apps that y'all can use. They're all free to use, which is why I advertise them. I don't get anything for these apps. It's just that I know these are free to use. But as always, if it's free, you're the product, so be careful with those apps. I tend to like Vocal Pitch Monitor the most. That's the one I use on Android. It has a neat little record feature, so you can like press play back once you once you record your voice, you can press play to hear back the components of your voice. And similarly, it's nice to kind of see your voice like on a graph. Nail the Pitch does the same, but it's on iOS. Because Vocal Pitch Monitor is on iOS, but apparently you have to pay for it. And according to one of my students, Vocal Pitch Monitor actually doesn't work on iOS too well, so be careful with that. Voice Tools is one that's working on both platforms correctly. However, my main gripe with it is that it gives you really arbitrary pitch ranges. I mean, I give you some pitch ranges too, but I don't force anyone to be in any of these. And I don't read gender just based on pitch. However, do be mindful that if it says, fem voice, for example, this app will tell you that
This voice is a perfectly feminine voice.
And it will tell you that this voice is a perfectly masculine voice. So be careful with that app, right? So you can use it, it has some great functions, but be smart about it. It's a tool, not a teacher. And Singing Carrots, it's one I know on PC. I know you have to make an account now, so that's annoying, but you can also just use like a guitar tuner. But I don't know of any other apps that kind of allow you to move the pitch up and down on the graph like that, other than Singing Carrots on PC. So yeah, I hope that explains it a little bit better. So yeah, use these tools. They can be really useful for your voice. Another one that's not on there is, I would say, Audacity. It's a good recording tool. There might be other open source options out there. So just look up like voice recording software. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Do we have any other questions, or are we all caught up?
I got some rapid fire 3 or 4
Yes.
questions. See how many you want to take.
Oh gosh, why did the questions come so late? Okay, shoot, let's go.
One of the back I saw was medications that give dry mouth. Like, does that affect
Dry mouth?
hydration? If you
Yes.
have medications that, so like, do you have to be worried about vocal training with that?
I mean, if it gives you dry mouth,
Stay hydrated.
I mean, if it gives you dry mouth, I suppose it dehydrates the rest of your body, so I would say yes. Take it with a grain of salt, I would say yes, mostly, but do your research on the medication at hand. Another question, please.
Tips on trying to practice quietly. Like when others are
Tips. Okay, one little thing is whispers are overpowered. If you take your hand and put it gently on your neck, you can feel your Adam's apple. For those who are trying to work for masculinization, you might not feel the Adam's apple as well, but it's there, I promise. So you can actually track it and just like try to travel up and down your vocal tract. It's just whispers. So pat, 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 pat. I feel the Adam's apple go low. Pa, 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 pa. I feel it go high. But the cool thing about it is that the whispers are just me pushing air through a shape change. You can actually do this completely silently. And I cannot show you this because you wouldn't hear anything. But you can actually do the pa, 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 and try to make the whisper quieter and quieter each time, pa, 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 to the point where you don't even hear anything and you still feel your Adam's apple move up. And so that can be great practice to do first when you're in a quiet space, when no one is watching. And then once people are around, you can try to do that practice completely quietly, like raising your larynx with complete quietness, trying to like rely on kind of like the muscle sensation and stuff like that. So yeah, but like silently, I would try to avoid it as much as possible because you kind of need to hear your voice at some point to actually gauge what is it what it is doing. So it's a good like little temporary practice to do, but it will never replace proper fully voiced practice. So you will have to find some quiet space. All right, how many questions do we have left?
Two more. I think they're fairly short.
All right, let's go for them.
What kind of training has the most overlap with voice feminization, like singing, voice acting, beatboxing, public speaking?
I mean, technically all of them, although singing, I would say, focuses more on like reaching for high pitches, reaching for low pitches, kind of like intonation stuff, you know. So yeah, singing, it's all right. I would say that you'll get most out of singing training if you actually kind of if you actually try to go for different voice types, you know, like opera singing, for example, like right, it's this really high pitch but really big vocal tract, so it kind of has you practice a much bigger vocal tract, so that can be really useful to kind of like gauge and feel how big your vocal tract gets. Beatboxing, I would say beatboxing is much more rhythmical. It doesn't use a lot of vibration of the vocal folds, except if you do like very specific sounds, like maybe lip basses, like where you actually use your lips vibrating and your voice, or like I forgot what they call this, like they call it the mouth bass. You roll like an R sound, but the skill level is a little bit too high for something that's more simple, so I would just say not beatboxing. Voice acting is probably the one that will give you the most out of your buck, because you will, you know, be exploring stuff like Stitch voice, Elmo voice, any cartoon character really, and they tend to have like very archetype like voices. So they really, because cartoons have very different characters, they need to have very different voices, so I think that's where you will find most of your practice to be interesting. So yeah, that's my take on this. And what's the last question?
Tips on sounding less nasal.
Interesting. Less nasal. Okay, so nasal, let's agree, when you sound nasal, right, there's two ways to sound nasal. Either you push every single sound through the nose. So like, for example, I speak through the nose like so. So like you can tell that like you can hear all of my voice coming through the nose. So it gives like a very nerdy vibe. So actually, I'm going to tell you about the voice science here today. So I'm not a nerd. It just classes. So yeah. Or you can hypernasal, especially if you are in hay fever season like me and your nose is stuffy. And when your nose is stuffy, you really struggle to any sound for the nose. So you can tell that like my M, so as in my or no or sing, all of these sounds tend to be completely deleted from existence. So, you know, you would have nasal sound. So to avoid nasality, I would assume that you speak about using a voice that leads into nasality all the time. So that's my so I would actually recommend trying to pretend this, because if you have like cold, like you kind of pretend your nose is like all the way clogged, right? Which in reality, I'm just raising my velum, like this red part here. And so nasality practice sentences. I have like a little example here that you can use that can be quite fun to practice with. Like you can say, mesmerizing melodies has a lot of m sounds, but if you try to actually remove the nasality, you get mesmerizing melodies, right? Still having mesmerizing melodies in your head, trying to say mesmerizing melodies, and you can feel quite literally your velum raise, and you can feel that something is not quite right, but it can give you a little bit more control and a little bit more agency over if you have a nasal voice or not. And with that, okay, we're actually not too bad on time. And with that, we are pretty much done. I hope that helps you out with your voice practice. Okay, so now I'll be wrapping up. All right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the workshop. So yeah, I'm Savvy. I teach voice feminization,
Voice masculinization.
I teach voice androgynization, singing, voice acting, and a little fun thing called human beatboxing with sounds such as. So if you want to learn any of these crazy weird texts and techniques, hit me up on Discord at savvy_sav, just like my name, all in lowercase. Or you can also just click my name here in vrchat and join my Discord server called Scientifically Augmented Voice. So, of course, thank you so much, V, and thank you so much, Rory, and thank you, Kimi, as well, for coming in and help me co-host this workshop. As per usual, your help is much appreciated. And everyone, please say bye to YouTube and bye to Twitch. Bye, YouTube. Bye, Twitch. Bye. And wait, I didn't forget about you, Discord. Bye, Discord. Bye-bye.